Hello chickies, welcome to the Fully Booked Penguin channel. I am Hannah and today we are doing my August TBR. Now it is a little early for this video, I acknowledge. Originally I was going to do a different reading vlog special video, however things haven't really worked out in that sphere, so I am delaying that until probably next month or until good news comes through on that one. Where we have progress in the sphere that I'm waiting on, but I need to wait a little longer. So we don't have that one, and the other sort of reading challenges that I have lined up, they need time to brew, i.e. film. So I won't have it for this week. So instead we're bringing up the TBR for August, which is fun because it is in fact my birthday month, August. So I am going to choose all the best books. We're going to treat ourselves to only the best. I have several in mind that I want to read, so we'll see if any of the prompts fit it. Hopefully they do. I have actually added a few more random prompts to the wheel as well, so we'll see what happens in that sphere. But for now, we do always begin with the Wheel of Doom or Peace, which is the wheel I use for the 10 before the end that I do in partnership with my friend. As in, I have 10 books that she's helped choose through prompts, which I am excelling at. Now for this wheel, there are the books from previous months still on there, so if we spin one we've already read, well obviously we'll skip and do it again. We shall begin with the first of the batch, and that is going to be... Oh, it's on the line. Legend of the Lightborn by Abbey Peterson. This is a giant book. Legend of the Lightborn by Abbey Peterson. This is a fantasy. 621 pages. Beck Windborn has cheated death many times in his 25 years, but he didn't consider himself lucky when he survived an epidemic as a child, nor when he survived a brutal war he drafted into at only 16 years old. If anything, Beck felt cursed to continue living. So he's now a captain of the Royal Guard, believe it or not, and he's tasked with the safety of Elandria's princess. So are we in the male's point of view? Because all of this blurb is all about the man. It's all about the man. I have nothing against a male protagonist, so we shall see. And it's meant to be a slow burn romance, I think, with yearning. And as everyone knows, I am a lover of yearning, but not hatred. So let's hope they don't hate each other. It doesn't seem like they will be, but perhaps they will be. I don't know. As I say, this blurb is very vague, so we shall see. An epic fantasy and a giant one, so therefore we will probably avoid giant books going forward with this TBR. I have been reading several 500-page books in the last couple of months, and I have been doing pretty well. I just section off a bit to read each day, and I get through it pretty fast. So we'll probably have to do that with this one as well, but people are said to have binging it, so the people's be loving it. It has a 4.66 rating, which is pretty good for Goodreads. So there you go. Legend of the Lightborn. All just Lightborn, because on the cover, Lightborn is just giant, so that's all you really see. The rest is all pretty much black. So I'm just oh, it's called Lightborn. It's not. It's called Legend of the Lightborn. Alright, so I have updated the wheel, and it should spin faster, because after last time, I complained about it being so slow, and my friend was like, you can't change that, right? No, I didn't know. So thank you to my friend for telling me what's up, and now we have a faster wheel, and it does have a few more additions to it, so that's good. So hopefully this all goes correctly, and we can succeed at life and at choosing new books. So our first prompt for August is going to be It's going to be something lovely, I'm sure. The best prompt ever. No person on the cover. No person on the cover. I have a lot of people on my covers. There's a person, 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 there's no person. So our two options for this is Jennifer Lynn Barnes' All In. This is book 3 in the Naturals series. This is like a mystery thriller YA book series. Or we have a Solo Leveling by Chugong. And this is volume 2 of that. And this is a... well, it's a bit lit RPG. So you have your main character who once was weak, now super overpowered, going into all these dungeons and trying to defeat them. Pretty much. It's a bit of death and mayhem, of course, because you're going through dungeons. And there's some questionable folk around trying to, well, manipulate the system. And, you know, they're not above sacrificing some of the weak pawns. And of course, they all think our main character is weak. And that's just not true. I wouldn't mind either of these. However, this is YA. And we are getting to the end, hopefully, of the romance. I hate the romance in this. And I just don't know whether I can be bothered with the teeny romance situation. I do get an inflated ego when I read these because I always pick the unsub or the bad guys. Before anyone else does, before it's revealed. And usually very early on, I see someone, I'm like, suspicious. In the first one, I did it pretty much straight away. I was like, wait a second. And then book 2, again, I was like, wait a second. When I met another one. So I was like, wow. So I think we're actually going to go with Solo Leveling for this one. It's been a while since I read the book 1, and I'm interested. I love my light novels recently, so this will be a great addition to the list. As I said, we are following Juno, who was like a really low grade hunter. However, he kind of sacrificed himself in a final dungeon and woke up outside of it, and everyone's like, how did he survive? But he did. And he happens to be able to level up his skills. So he's been leveling up, thus solo leveling by himself, so that he can defeat big dungeons. And he's starting to collect a crew, but he really doesn't connect much with people. He's kind of just focused on his leveling up. So he's a little bit detached from, you know, your usual stories where it's like they win over all these, you know, little group and they will do anything for their, you know, their friends. And in this one, less so. But I still find it amusing. We shall see what I think of, yes, number 2 of the series. Book number 3 is going to be a fresh recommendation. No, a fresh prompt. That is going to be... has a movie, TV, etc. adaptation. Who Made Me a Princess? Has one. Then these ones back here. My mangas. So we can choose a skip beat. We are up to volumes 31, 32 and 33. I have the 3-in-1s. We have volume 36 of Yona of the Dawn. Or we have Who Made Me a Princess, volume 3, manga, manhwa. They're all great choices. I am intrigued where we're at in Yona of the Dawn, but we're also a pretty good spot in Skip Beat as well. But then, it's a manhwa. Manhwas, Korean comics. They're in colour. They usually have great artwork. I mean, of course there's different genres, different ones. There's some pretty bad ones out there, as well as the good, but I have superior taste. I'm joking. I'm going to go with Yona. Yona of the Dawn, volume 36. In this, we are following Yona, who is a princess. Her father is killed, betrayed by someone close to them. And then the throne is usurped. And then Yona runs away with her bodyguard, Huck. And they start collecting these 4 dragon people. And she is revealed to maybe have a connection to these dragon warriors. and she goes out to try and help her kingdom. Not necessarily to take back the throne. She just wants to help her people because she realizes it wasn't in the best state under her father, and so she wants to help fix things, help people. So Yona Over the Dawn by Mizuho Kusanagi is going to be our third book for the month. Okie dokie, book number 4 is going to be, well, our prompt for it is going to be no person on the cover. Didn't we just have that? I mustn't have removed it. Okay. Our 4th. I'm having a tough time of it. Here was the prompt that I turned off. A book involving the ocean or body of water on the cover is what it's meant to say. Lout of Cat's family. He's actually on a whale here, and they're in the water. So we're going to go with this because this is one of the books that I really wanted. This one. A treat to myself on my birthday. So this is Lout of Cat's Family by Ryeo-han, and this is novel number 6. It's a light novel series, and it's the greatest thing that ever happened. No, it is excellent, but we're following Kale, who is the son of a count. And Kale is originally a real world person who has transmigrated into the world, and the world is actually that of a novel series, and Kale got to book 5 before he got transmigrated. So he knows to a certain point of the future, and he knows that his character gets beat up by the main character and that the world goes to war. And our little lad, he's like, I don't like the sound of being beat up. I would like to avoid pain at any cost. So he sets out to get stronger, get these sort of healing protective measures, and also help raise up an army so that his little land where the count is, it's all protected when this war comes about. However, our poor lad, he wants to be lazy when the war comes, and unfortunately he keeps getting entangled in all these other plots and befriending new allies at every turn, but he's like, why do I have to work so hard all the time? Because he is the mastermind. And so currently he is up to a point where he doesn't know the future, and that's scary because we have a little dragon friend right there, right on, and he might be in danger, and our Kale won't allow that. He's like, no, I can't have any of my allies be in danger badly, because he's like, well, I've taken them under my wing now I have to look after them, don't I? Because that's my duty. So he's not really allowed. He likes to pretend he is, but he's not. And so I love it. It's got humor. It's got adventure. It's got the good guys winning. It's got so many cool characters, different characters. So I love the series, and I will stop there before I rant and rave about it forever. Excuse the lighting if it's changed. It's getting later in the afternoon, so the sun's moving. But our 5th prompt is going to be a free choice. I'm gonna save up, so we are going with this prompt, but we're gonna save it up until I've done the other 3 spins. So we do have a free choice, remember. Anyway, our 6th prompt is going to be first recommendation on Kindle. Okie dokie. Let's hope it's the one I want. I seriously don't know what to do. There we go. Okay, starting recommendations again. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. Yes! I mean, is it cheating when it just says next, like the next books in the series kind of thing? It just says continue series that you started, and it's got the book I want. Is it technically correct? Probably not. But we're gonna go with it. We are. And I'll tell you why. Because it's my decision. In the end, I can do whatever I want. Alright, so the book I am choosing. It is the final book in the trilogy of Magic on Main Street by K.M. Shea. And that book is The Order of Blood and Ruin. So it is the final one of this trilogy, and I love Connor and Jade. If I read this blurb, it's going to spoil the whole entire series. So I'm just going to tell you that Connor, or Considine Maledictus, he's an ancient vampire, okay? And he's come to Magicford to straighten out the Drake family and just to do some little shenanigans. And he, downplays his vampiric nature and moves into this human neighborhood. And his next door neighbor turns out to be Jade. And Jade is like a little social anxiety little lass. She finds it very difficult to talk to people, except that she's fine with vampires. And so she's like, oh, hello, Connor, next door neighbor. I can talk to you just fine, but I can't seem to talk with anyone else. But she has a secret identity, because at night she does in fact work for like the Magicford supernatural police kind of thing, and she is actually a vampire hunter. That's right. So they have the day personalities where they're neighbors, and then they have their night personalities who kind of clash, but of course the vampire just finds the vampire hunter like a bit of fun. And so there's some magical shenanigans, crimes happening around town, and so of course in her position with the police, she investigates, and she keeps bumping into this ancient vampire in the middle of the night. She's like, can you please leave me alone? I'm trying to work here. And that's pretty much the starting point of this entire series, but we're much further on. Things have been revealed, new plots have been dealt with, old ones are still untended. So where we're up to in this one, we have to figure it out this time. But I love bored, tired Connor. So that's going to go to the list as our 6th book, and so that leaves us with 2 more spins to go, and then I have to go back and make my free choice. Okay, so prompt number 7 is going to be the next greatest thing, I'm sure. And that is going to be most recent book you bought. Well, technically it's a different one, but I already have that giant book, and I'm not going to imagine another giant book. Or am I? Technically it's the third and last one of the trilogy of the Clown for Lord of the Mysteries. I could add yet another giant book to the list. This one is only 480 or 490 pages. Relatively short. It's under 500. Or I can go for the other one. Technically, I bought this, but it was before I bought this. But it came later than this one. But technically, the one I bought was this one, which is From a Knight to a Lady. And after I finish this one, we will be waiting on the next volume. The art is by Ink, the story by Iron, and the original story by Hyerim Sung. And this is about Lucifella, or Lucy. Originally, she's Estelle, who is a knight of a kingdom, but her kingdom is betrayed and she's killed by someone in her party. And so she wakes up in the body of a Lucifella, or Lucy. So she sets out to try and figure out what happened to her kingdom and what happened to the person who betrayed her. And she has to now wield the skills of a lady instead of the skills of a knight. And she discovers that there's a whole plot around Lucy as well. So she's trying to figure out her body's past, as well as confront her past, as well as figure out where the rebels are from her defeated kingdom, as well as grow closer to Duke. Anyway, this lad here, who she's meant to be engaged to, but she's like, I don't think we need to be engaged. And he's like, yeah, neither. But actual fact, I do think we should be engaged. It's a fantasy romance manhwa. I'm slowly butchering each of these explanations, but I explain more in the wrap-ups. So if you want to find out more in depth about what it's about, you can check in with me then. So our prompt number 8, our final prompt, but not our final book choice, is going to be book starting with a random letter of the alphabet. Alright, we can do that. Here's our random letter. What could it be? that lands on B. I'll get a B. Okay, B. Do I have any Bs? Baroness goes on strike. Let me quickly check down this other list, but otherwise I think it's this one. Currently I have a chunky book, a chunky fantasy, 2 light novels, a lot of fantasy. I do currently have a lot of fantasy. Could put my reread on there, which is The Blue Castle, which I know starts with the, but in library organization, it starts with the Blue Castle. And this is by L.M. Montgomery. This is technically a reread, but it would add some difference to the pile of fantasy I have here. Or I could just go with Baroness Goes on Strike. We will go with The Blue Castle by L.M. Montgomery. This is about Valancy, who has a very strange family, and they dote on her, but they sort of like treat her like a child because she's always been a bit weak and everything. And she stays indoors all the time, and they wonder why she's weak. Anyway, she gets a diagnosis from her doctor that she only has a short time to live, and so she makes drastic decisions to live life the way she wants. She starts speaking her mind, she starts doing whatever she wants, and she steps out of herself and, you know, pursues a bit of romance, a bit of friendship, and different things. And yeah, I love this book. It's one of my favorites. So I will, of course, love the reread, which leaves us with a free choice. We have 5 novels, so I could probably go with another manhwa or manga. So I might go with a manhwa. Here's our pile of manhwa. We have Who Made Me a Princess, Marriage of Convenience. I am going to put this one aside because I know it's on my Wheel of Doom or piece, so we're just going to wait until it comes up on the wheel. Then we have The Villainess is a Marionette, which I read volume 2 just last month. We have Father, I Don't Want This Marriage. Then we have Villains Are Destined to Die. This is volume 6. Or we have The Baroness Goes on Strike. I think I'm going to put aside The Villainess is a Marionette because I did read that one last month. I am loving Villains Are Destined to Die. I'm not gonna lie. It is one of my favorites. But I also kind of want to read Father, I Don't Want This Marriage as well. It's cute. I think I'm going to go with Father, I Don't Want This Marriage. It was my free pick. Just because it is. I mean, there are dark bits in it. But majority of it is light and sweet. So in a past lifetime, Juvelian, who is the daughter of a duke, she is framed for poisoning a princess. And she has a fiance who's a bit of a trash. Let's just put it that way. But as she is going to this special prison that only the royal family can enter, her father, the Duke, who's always been a bit cold towards her, a bit neglectful, hands her this dagger and says, you know, use this if you have to. And she takes that to mean, you know, get rid of yourself, please, for the good of this family kind of thing. And so she does. So the current Juvelian of this lifetime is like, I don't want that to happen. That's a no from me. So she tries to win over her father, but also is a bit wary of her father because her father's always been a bit distant. However, her father starts really attaching himself to her and being like, that's my daughter, that's my girl. And so she's like, what's going on here? I thought he hated me. And then we also have her fake dating a knight, or this student of her father, who may have a secret identity. And so it's a bit of chaos. It's fun. It's Juvelian being her sweet stuff, but also just chaotic yearning from the male lead and just like protective father vibes from the Duke. And it's great. I love it. It's so sweet. Volume 4 of Father, I Don't Want This Marriage. And it is by Hong Hee-soo. And the art is by Roll, and it's adapted by Yuri. I'm so excited by this pile. The only one I'm a bit daunted by is, of course, our Wheel of Doom or Peace, which is a giant book, and we'll see how that goes. But I am excited to finally read it. I've heard good things about it. Alright, so the first book we have on our list is A Legend of the Lightborn by Abbey Peterson, which is an epic fantasy. Then we have Solo Leveling, Volume 2 of the light novel series by Chugong, and it is a lit RPG fantasy. Then we have Yona of the Dawn, Volume 36 by Mizuho Kusanagi, and it is a historical fantasy romance manga. Lout of Count's Family by Ryeo-han, and this is novel number 6. It's a Korean light novel series, and it is a fantasy isekai. From a knight to a lady, and this is by Hyerim sung or Ink, and then the story by Ein, and this is a manhwa. It's a fantasy romance. Then we have The Order of Blood and Ruin, which is book 3 of the Magic on Main Street series by K.M. Shea, and it is an urban fantasy supernatural romance. And then we have The Blue Castle by L.M. Montgomery. It's a standalone, and it is a historical romance. And finally, we have Father, I Don't Want This Marriage, Volume 4, and this is by Hong Hee-soo, Roll, and Yuri, and this is a fantasy romance. So that's our pile. I'm really excited now. I now have to wait. I've still to have 2 weeks before I can read any of these, but it will give me something to look forward to and motivate me to finish my current TBR as well. I will have a reading vlog coming next week. Let me know if you've read any of these books. Let me know if you've got some interesting plans for August at this early time. But until next time, I wish you all the best of reading. Until then, peace.
티니로그 끝.